What up, world? How's it going? Today we're talking about House of Dragons. My bad, I've been away for a little bit, but I'm back now. So here we go. I did miss last episode, so I just had to watch that before I watched this episode. And let me tell you, last episode was my favorite. I mean, this was pretty close, but there will be spoilers. So if you have not seen this, you should go watch the episode and then come back. And when you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe for your boy. Let go. Okay, so I totally missed the mark on these episodes. I thought that an outside presence was going to come in and maybe they would all have to join houses or something against that enemy, or they would, I don't know what I was thinking, but I definitely did not see this growing apart and these different houses becoming or turning against one another. I really enjoyed this episode, and there was a character in here surprised me a lot. I did not think that they had the backbone to do what they did, but we're going to get into it. So this episode starts off with Ramera coming back to King's Landing, wanting to see her father, and there are all these talks, discussions about who is going to be the successor at Valeria, since Corylis has seemed to die or disappear off screen. I ain't buying it for a second. Not 1 second. I know at some point in this season he is either gonna come in this season or next season, he's gonna come back just to mess shit up. Anyway, so they're trying to figure out who is going to be the successor in Valeria, and the queen or the princess believes that she has a right to the throne, whereas Corylis's brother is saying, you have no right to the throne, this is mine by blood. And yeah, they're getting ready to fight it out. He seems pretty pissed off. Meanwhile, the princess is not quite convinced that the Targaryens, or at least Ramera, didn't have anything to do with her son's death. And you can just see it on like Ramera's face, like she wants to tell her, your son ain't dead. But you can almost see her wanting to tell him that, or wanting to tell her that. So I'm having the same trouble this week that I had with the previous show. Is there's so many goddamn babies being had. I can't keep up with all these names. How many Aegons are in this show? Okay, we got an Aegon. We got who was the asshole Lannister? They got killed. What was his name? I can't think of it, but you know who I'm talking about. The one that got poisoned. That one. They renamed him. Like I can't keep track. There's like 2 or 3 Aegons, maybe. Name your kid something else, like Bob or James or some shit. So Ramera's pregnant again by Daemon this time, I'm assuming. But she also is making a claim for her son to take over in Valeria, so that he can kind of join the two houses together. And when she kind of sees that things are not going to go her way, Ramera goes to the princess Valeria, and she tries to bargain with her, saying that if you do this my way, we can join the two houses later. That way, your children will have a place in the throne, for the throne. They will later on become kings or queens or whoever. All of a sudden, who should appear to stop all of this nonsense? King Viserys shows up and walks his broken ass down that aisle, albeit took forever to get there. Finally got to his hazard of a chair, which is surrounded by death. I don't whose idea was it for a real, like, we should put all this stabby stuff around the chair. What do you guys think? It's a good idea? It's good. That way if anybody trips and falls, they die automatically. There's no coming back from a trip and fall going up these steps. Anyway, Viserys sits down in his chair and he's like, stop all this nonsense. I've already told you that Ramera is my heir, and that the princess will be the queen in Valeria. Which sets off, what is his name? Sir Vermin? Vermin? I already know someone's going to correct me. and I love it. Please correct me. What is his name? Please give me the correct pronunciation. So this black man, in an entire room full of white folks, decides that he is going to call Ramera's children, the king's daughter's children, his grandchildren, bastards. Oh no! Because everybody knows that it is not her husband's children or her ex-husband's children. But he says it anyway out of anger, and then calls Ramera a whore. Now, I understand how he feels. I get it. I understand that. But you can't, bro. You can't do that. You can't call it that, man. You can't talk about our kids like that. Well, he paid the ultimate price, as instead of going outside and getting a drink or something like that, he got his melon smooth cut in half with his tongue hanging out. So, I mean, he had a good point, but you kind of know at this point you're not winning this. Like, you're just not. Okay, you got to go back, you got to figure it out, strategize, think about another way. Okay, you were the only black man in this room. So, Viserys really shocked me in this episode. You can see that he was tired of the fighting, and he was tired of the bickering between all of the houses. He is almost ashamed as to what end this has all come to. I also enjoyed Daemon being there for his brother. I thought that was deep, even though they've had their disagreements, and Viserys has kicked Daemon out of King's Landing more times than I can count. But you see the love that Daemon has for his brother. No matter what, you cannot. They may talk bad about one another, but they will not. They will defend each other viciously if provoked. And I really love that. You see that bond between them, and I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know what disease the king has, but he so I don't know what is going on with his body. What does he have? What haven't they figured this out yet? Because he got cheek meat missing and an eye. Okay, I can't eat looking at that. I don't. It ain't no wonder everybody's kind of upset. Can nobody look at that and be like, "You still hungry, bro?" I'm not. I don't know what he could possibly have that is just destroying his skin everywhere. Like, what is that? But I really respected him for grinding through the pain and wanting to bring his family back together, insisting that they all have dinner together, even though they seem like children at this table. They couldn't even do that. Not without hitting or hating one another. But they fake it long enough, just until the king is escorted out because of his illness, and they go right back to fighting again. And I think the very last few minutes of this episode is what I think was very telling. The king is like in a demented state. He doesn't know who he's talking to a lot of the time. He's just talking freely. So he mentions the song of Fire and Ice to his wife, which was supposed to be a secret between the king and Ramera, but he thinks he's talking to Ramera. So Ileana, I think is her name. Again, if I get it wrong, just please correct me. There's so many names in this show, but Ileana, she is with her husband as he is dying, and he mentions the song to her, and while she gets a very loose explanation as to what it is he's talking about, she takes that information and she runs with it, giving giving what he just said her own meaning, and now she's assuming that he means that Aegon should be king. I don't know how many times this dude has to say it. Okay, I kind of blame this on the king. he should just say it like one time. Listen, everybody who does not understand, okay? Okay? Ramera is going to be the queen. The end. I don't care what you hear after this moment. Ramera's queen. Okay? Enough. She will decide the successor. Okay? Valeria, the princess, will be queen there also. This is the end of that shit. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't... How are they still arguing about this? And I thought it was settled, and then she hears something in his chambers, and she's just like, oh, I understand, my king. No, you don't! He just told you what it was. So, and then I believe we've heard the last of the king. I believe he died in his bed, as he says, hello, my love. I think he's speaking to his previous wife, the one he's loved all his life, and I think that is his end, and very fitting. I thought he was a fantastic king. He did some dumb shit from time to time, but you know, what man doesn't? So I think it was pretty good. What did I think of this episode? I thought this episode was pretty good. I thought that the king did his thing. Damon is my boy, and he always seems to be like in the background. He's there if you need him, but he's always in the background, like chuckling and smirking and just thinking everything's a joke. But when it's time to get down, Damon is that guy. As you saw, Damon broke up that fight between those children. He just walked in between them and gave him that look like, hey, this shit's over. I believe Corylis will be back at some point. I'm starting to hate Ileana, the queen, a lot. I mean, I understand her motivations. I understand that her father is kind of pushing her in this direction. And that's another thing. How did he become the hand again? Like, the king just, like, basically blasted him to his face. You're a liar. You ain't shit. You ain't never been shit. You've been lying the whole time. You ain't worth a damn. I got me a new hand. That's the end of that shit. And then turn around 5 seconds later and was like, well, my other hand is dead. You want a job? I just feel like that's a little weird. I don't know what's happening. I like when I can't, figure this out. I feel like the hand has more of he's involved more than what we know at this point. I mean, I know that he's got his daughter under control and that they have a plan, but I think he is into other things. I think that he's dealing with he's moving pieces around, in other words. And I get his play too. Like, he wants a seat at the table, a bigger seat than just being the hand, to ensure his family's progression or stability. So I get that. Yeah, that's about it. I really like this show. It's very intertwined. I don't really so much care about the kids stuff at this point. I get why it's important. You got to start telling the story now so that they become, when later on you're like, you kind of understand where they're going and where they've been. So I get that, but I'm not so interested in the children right now. There's so many of them. Can we just stick with a certain timeline just for a little bit so we can hang out and figure just a few things out? Just a few. That's my take on House of Dragon this week. I will definitely see you for next week. And I will definitely see you for the last episode of She-Hulk. Thank God this shit's over. And then we can find something else to get into. I'm not watching Andor. This shit's boring. Okay? I'm about to finish one boring show with She-Hulk. I'm not going back to another one. So, y'all be easy. And I'll see y'all for something. Give me some suggestions, whatever y'all got. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And I'll see y'all later. Cheers.